How's it going, everyone? Today it is Wednesday, March 27th, 2024, and let's get into the video of the day. So, yesterday I called out app. I liked app, and you can see the nice D1 chart here, and then you can see how the stock looked when I called it out. Nice steady grind higher, holding the gains. And then you might say, oh shit, what the fuck happened to app? We got some heavy selling here. Well, let's look at what's happened in the market. We got a whole bout of heavy selling. Market gapped up, and then some heavy selling continued. And then we've sort of digested a lot of those gains and found some support over here. So you might be thinking, all right, well, app was a shit call. Not a good play. Now I'm down 50%. Maybe you sold at the bottom because you panicked. This is what I have to say about app. I am not worried about this trade because the D1 chart on the stock has been so strong. I can lean on this breakout, and I can lean on this upward sloping trend line. Now, I've tried to draw a channel here to gauge potential support or resistance, and get a general sense of the direction of the stock. But here's my thought process in app. Okay, well, I would have liked to see a stock that would have held up more nicely to this drop. So it did react to this drop pretty strongly. It didn't gap up with the market, and it sold off. And now it found some support. It's at the 8 EMA. Found some support somewhere here, kind of near this breakout high over here. And we are erasing a lot of those gains, forming a nice hammer. So I want to see this form a nice hammer, and I want to see this continue higher. So this tells me that buyers are engaged, and they said, hey man, app at $67. Oh yeah, I want this stock. It offset all of these selling pressure here. So what I've done is I'm still bullish, but I've tempered my bullishness to the upside. I like to see stock have a little bit more strength, but this is just a pullback, and that's okay. So I've set my target to now take some small profits, kind of at the open of this candle. Now, the market might be bullish coming up pretty soon. We're going to get to that in a second. And the stock just had a little pullback. So not too worried about app. I think app will be just fine. And I'm fine with just continue to holding it. Now, I called out a Carvana BPS yesterday. We didn't get that filled, but we did get another put credit spread filled, which was our Amazon put credit spread, the 70-250, 170 bullish put spread. This puts us below this upward sloping trend line, below a VWAP E, and below this horizontal support and resistance coming into play. So we have lots of levels to lean on, and if the stock breaks, we have a clear path to the 50 SMA in order to cover our losses. The spread expires, I believe, on... Let me check. I believe it's on the 19th. Amazon... the 12th. April 12th. So this spread will expire in 2 weeks. Spread will expire in 2 weeks. So we got the fill on that. We're looking pretty good here. What else were our YouTube picks? So let's go over this pretty quickly. We're on Amazon. We have our Wells Fargo pick, which I've outlined. The stock has not performed how we wanted it to. We'll have to see if it catches a bid going into earnings. To me, that's the only potential force. Strong market bid, and an earnings, kind of a buy into earnings movement that could spark some selling here. But other than that, I'm not super bullish on the trade, and I'm looking to get out for a scratch, a small loss, a small win. Get out of this trade because it did not perform how I wanted it to. Lyft had a little bit of heavy selling early in the day. It's testing this breakout level. We poked through it today, and now we are climbing back up. So I like to see this finish as a hammer. That tells me that buyers are engaged, and we could get ready for the next leg higher. I'd set a downward sloping trend line alert You can see it's pulling back here. When we break through that, I think we can get this next move higher. APA, I called that over here. Hey, we want to see this 200 SMA hold. We also want to see this move go higher. Bit of a choppy stock. And I said yesterday, hey, take some small profits. We're not in a strong trend day. The market's pulling back, so you don't have to take a whole bunch of longs. So I said, hey, we'll call it a 50-50. APA today below the SMA, so you want to see it close above it. If you can't get it close above it, then I'll call the other half a loss and I'd get out of the trade. So I would call that a net neutral. So what's the market doing today on a longer term time frame? So we can kind of ignore these lines for the time being. Whoops, let me just delete them so we can kind of easily see what we're looking at here. I kind of just drew them intraday. So after our long market rally, coming up all the way from November, we know that the momentum has been waning. So instead of a 3 bullish, we are now a 2 bullish. Nice FOMC reaction, we popped up, and now the market has been pulling back on pretty low volume and pretty weak pullback. How do we know it's a weak pullback? Well, we look at the price action of the move down. Lots of mixed green candles. Big rallies up, gap down, no follow through, gap up, a little bit of retest, gap up, a little bit of retest, hold the line. And since the 25th, since Monday, the market has been absolutely flat, hasn't gone anywhere. Look at this net movement here, right? So we're just bouncing around in this range. We know that buying and selling is the net output of buyers and sellers, right? If the market moves up, it means that buyers have the advantage. If the market moves down, it means sellers have the advantage. When it flips, we often need this period of equilibrium where buyers and sellers are paired off and the net movement is zero, because for every buyer, there's a seller and the result output is sideways. Here, the result output is down because there was more profit taking than long-term buying. Long-term buying didn't want to buy at this price. There's more profit takers here, but because this move is weak, we know that it's profit takers and not bearish institutional selling, because the move would be so much stronger. So we know it's pullback, we know it's profit taking, and we keep our activity low, and we're keeping one step ahead of the market. We know that once we're starting to establish and close above the prior day high, we can be ready for this next move higher. So we just have to be patient. So swing traders should have been pretty passive. You take your gains over here. Market's not able to hold, so take your gains. Kind of passive for these couple of days. You may have some occasional day trading opportunities, but the very compressed ranges have made it hard to day trade, and I've been trying to get better at day trading, and these conditions have not made it easy for me. So you take very few picks, you take small size, fewer trades, make a little bit of money. If you're good, but if you're not good and you're still learning like me, you do pretty much nothing and you wait for the next opportunity to improve. All right. A little bit of we got an alert here. Okay, so what's happening on an M15 basis? Well, first, let's start with our market context. We're in a pullback phase. We're not worried about the bond flowing out. We're not worried about capitulation. We're not. What else is over here? We're not worried about the market being overextended, right? It's finding support. We're close to the 8 EMA, so we're not worried about all those things at the moment. Now, on an intraday basis, let's look at what's kind of driving the market here. And I think the clue, first off, is in our sector ETFs, right? SPY is up a little bit from yesterday, but not a ton. A lot of sectors are pretty strong relative to SPY. In fact, a lot of sectors are doing pretty good, except tech and comms, right? These are big portion of the sectors. Netflix, Microsoft, Google, all these kind of stocks, they're a little weak, so we're not getting a big chunk of the market rallying over here. So our mega cap tech is fairly neutral if we take a look at these stocks. You got some stocks up, some stocks down, but overall kind of balances it out. There's no strong bias in either direction. Our flight to safety assets are also a little bit mixed. We have gold up, which is, you can say how much of a flight to safety asset is or not, but VIX is low, which is a sign of certainty, right? There's not high uncertainty, there is low uncertainty. So now that we kind of have our bearings, and also, by the way, there's more stocks in heavy buy than heavy sell, so that should kind of tell you the conviction of this market. Let's look at what's happening on an intraday price action basis. Volume has been pretty decent, but the volume has been pretty weak the past couple of days. So we're comparing it to pretty low volume. We had this nice gap up over here, almost a 1% gap up, so pretty decent gap up. We try to hold it, and then bam, 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 we get some long red candles here at 10. So it tells us that there's some selling pressure. After that, we're at this level, and this is where I drew the first line, where we're kind of at this level around 51960. So let's just draw a little bit of line in the sand here, and you can see that there is support at this level, right? Poke through here, support, support, support. We get some pokes. This was an overextension, and it was, if we look at an HA candle, you can see how it was gobbled up pretty quickly. So this is a decent support level on the short term for the market. Poked back into here again and started to move up higher. Now, after this move down, we have a very, very choppy bearish trend channel. So that means that this selling pressure here was not very continued. It was a little bit, you know, up and down, up and down, up and down. There's a lot more fighting going on. And so if your bearish conviction here was like a 3, I would go, a -3, you'd go down to like a -1, given this follow through price action. We also had a 1OP bullish cross at 950, so that would have, you know, you would have not missed that much of an opportunity, to be honest. This is a low quality shorting opportunity, in my opinion. So after we got this move down, choppy move up, and then we started to see some lift. All right, sellers could not really get any through. We got a little bit of a double bottom here, and then we're starting to move higher, and now we're bouncing around VWAP test of here, around VWAP, and we're getting tiny mixed candles here, lots of dojis. Just take a look at an HA chart here. I mean, there's not really any sort of clear-cut trend. This tells us to be pretty passive. So what's in our ideal scenario here? Well, we have this bearish cycle coming up in SPY, and to me, the best case is this bearish cycle is pretty benign. We're holding around VWAP, and then we actually are able to break above this very, very short-term high here at around 520.50, right? And if that breakout would line up with a 1OP bullish cross. If we get that scenario, then I think there's a nice opportunity to enter some longs. If we don't get that scenario, then I would, hold off and not really enter any day trades. So day traders, I think, should be pretty passive, but they're just look for what would be the right setup for the right opportunity. So I got an alert on DAL. Let's take a look at this chart here. So DAL, very nice chart. You can see how it's a pretty decent price action. It's actually starting to pick up after this breakout over here. Tested the breakout, move high, pull back to the EMA, and now it's moving up higher. Now I like this, and you can see here we got a pullback over here, holding the gains, lost a bit of relative strength, and now we are actually crossing back up over here. So we're through this candle. Now it's a bit of a choppy stock. I made a parabolic run, and it might need some time to digest the gains, and we got a pretty big bearish engulfing hammer. So I'm actually not crazy about entering Dow over here because it's made a big run and it may be done for the day. We have no market tailwind, and we might need some time to digest the gains. If we got a pretty nice reversal of this candle in about an hour or even less, the faster the better, that indicates some strong buying. This means that there's still some supply that has to be worked off. We got a little bit of win from buyers here. And we, what's it called? And, I guess the tide is still kind of favoring this side. So this is pretty decent price action, but I like a stock like ALK a little bit better. So this is what you want to see, right? Here's this bearish engulfing candle, and then here is the bullish engulfing candle back. This tells me that we're still on the right side. So that's the difference between, a great stock and a good stock, right? This is pretty good, but it's not great. Also, since there's no market tailwind, I've been noticing that strong stocks can pitter-patter. There's some volume coming in over here, but there's not a lot of volume the whole day. I want to see really, really high volume. And AL, this is a great example. There's really nice volume driving this price action here. Lots of relative strength. 8 EMA is sloping upwards, and I would probably buy these pullbacks to the 8 EMA over here, and then you can get in at a nice price and then get out at a pretty nice price. Okay, so now that we kind of got through all that, let's talk about what would change our bias. This is something I've been thinking about more and more intraday, because short-term trading requires you to make a lot faster adjustments. And I need to know what my current bias is and what price action would change my current bias. So right now, my current bias on a M5 basis is a 1, might be a 0 now. It was a 1 over here. It's a bit of a 0 because we couldn't hold back above VWAP. And I outlined, before I even enter any trades, I outlined what scenarios would cause me to flip my bias. So I want to share this for this video. I'm not going to do it for every video, but I'm going to share this for this video. So I have my bias from -3 to 3. -3 is max bearish, 3 is max bullish. So currently I am at a 0. Okay. Now, what would get me to a 1? A 1 would be we see some steady buying on the stock and we're able to hold between VWAP and the prior day's high, right? We're able to kind of move in this area. A 2 would mean we actually break above this prior day high right over here at around 521. And we get some, some decent buying, some steady green candles, and some okay volume. A 3 bullish would mean that we actually are able to break above the high of the day. We get some long green candles, heavy volume, little retracement. If we get that kind of price action, we know that we have some strong bullishness. Now, on the short side, I usually tend to flip it. So a bearish move would say that, hey, we are actually between VWAP and the low of the day. If we bounce around here, I'm a little bit more bearish because we're in the lower end of the range, but I'm also not super bearish because we're not really actually able to get anything. We're still sort of range bound. A 2 or a -2 bearish, I would see some steady selling. We break to the low of the day, and there'd be some decent volume. So we knew that, okay, this low of the day isn't going to hold. Well, now we have we have some sort of trend happening in our favor. A 3 would be a -3 would be some stacked red candles and heavy volume blowing through the low of the day, low retracement, tiny pullbacks. That would get me more bearish on the day. And so that's why you could say, hey, maybe this move is like that. Yeah, it might be like that because we got the gap up. We have some nice momentum. We could fill in this gap here. But when we lost momentum, it's very unlikely that we can move past the gap. And now it's very unlikely that we even fill the gap. And I believe that the low of the day is in. So now let's talk about some of our picks for the day. I'm going to go to my tags over here on my watch list. Tags. Okay. So let's start with our D1 chart. Cruise stocks have been pretty nice today, and so have been airlines. So NCL, nice post-earnings move, choppy reaction here, and then we're breaking out above this, that relative high. So I like it on a D1 basis. Now on an M5 basis, what I need to see is, here's the level that we broke out about. We have this move up here, move down, and then I want to see some nice HA, flat bottom HA candles bouncing off this level. It means that this resistance has become support, and we have a lot more confidence in the move. So what you do, I set a flat bottom HA M5 reversal. When I get that, right, we have a flat bottom here. When I get that pattern, I know that we are good. I also have an LRSI alert, and I'm going to set an alert at the high of the day. So if we don't get some HA reversal for some reason, maybe we compress and we move higher, then that's a nice sign of strength. All right, ALK I already mentioned over here. Let me just bring that chart up again. So I'm not as crazy about swing trading this kind of chart because you can see how choppy it is, but there are nice moves and there are pretty sustained moves. So I think day trading could work pretty well. That's why I favor ALK more for day trading. RCL, you could also swing trade, but it's a bit choppy. Moved over here, compressed, held all the gains, which I love, and then we inched up higher today. So I think there could be a nice opportunity here as well. There could be some follow through buying. The stock is breaking out of this range that it's been in for the past couple of months. DAL, another airline stocks, but I like this one a little bit better for swing trading because we've had this steady grind higher, broke through over here, 8 EMA pullback, move up higher, 8 EMA pullback, move up higher. So I think you can enter a starter position now, and you can look to enter on a pullback later. JPM, I like this for a swing, and I'm contemplating, still thinking about this, I'm contemplating doing a trade swap between JPM and Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo's not produced, right? And look, let's look at Wells Fargo in the time. So I took Wells Fargo on March 12th. Let's look at JPM on March 12th. JPM on March 12th. Okay, so stock is up $10. Stock is up $10 since March 12th. So yeah, I'm this is the better pick over here. We still they have the same time for earnings. So that might be a trade swap we do. Now I still take a look at the short side, even though I'm not planning to take any short trades. There's not a lot of short opportunities, but I think EDU is a good short pick. We are below the SMAs, AVWAP-Q, and we're right actually at this gap all the way back from February 8th. So let's zoom into the M5 chart here. You can see how it's testing this gap and it's not really been able to break through. Got a long response. So over here, long response over here. So I think on a stock like EDU, settler at the bottom of the gap. When we break through, retest the gap, and move down higher, you get a flat bottom HA candle. Then you have a nice shorting opportunity. This stock is also very choppy. It doesn't have a lot of follow through, so you'd probably stick to maybe a day trade and enter on a pullback. But that's just a short look. So if I had to give a pick of this video, one, again, I'm not looking to do any swing trades right now. One, because we have a couple of swing trades already in my portfolio, a couple of put credit spreads, a couple of short-term swings. So not looking to over leverage when the market is still finding support. That's not what I want to do. But in our YouTube picks, we don't have as many portfolios, so if not many picks, as many picks in the portfolio. So if I did have to give a pick, I think what I would do, and what's my favorite pick here? I do like DAL. Earnings 411. I do like this pick. It's pretty good price action today. So I'm between DAL, RCL, and JPM. All of these stocks have great relative strength. Man, we already have a financial pick here. I don't know. I honestly, I'd probably just go with JPM again. I mean, there's really no reason. There's a pullback here. This is a bit of a choppier stock. All right, I'm going to go with Dallas. I think I'm going to go, oh, not Dallas. I don't, DAL reminds me of Dallas. Delta Airlines. I'm going to go with DAL. That's going to be our pick for the day. So how would you trade it? I'd either take a, one, I'll probably take a day trade here where the market finds support. You can see how it's compressing over here. So set an alert for a pullback. Should have some nice follow through. And, just go for maybe a half ATR move on this kind of stock. We don't have any major resistance until over here. So let's just draw that in. Got some horizontal resistance around there. But other than that, we are not seeing anything major. You can see how this stock tends to have sustained moves. Big moves up, big moves down, big moves up, big moves down, big moves up. So we're in a strong trend up over here. And I do believe that there's a pretty good chance of it hitting that 4870 level with a good market tailwind. So we're going to take DAL long, and we're going to look to hold until this level right here. That would be my outlook for the trade. So DAL until here, and we want this pull. We expect some pullbacks to the 8 EMA. That's okay, and we can add as it continues to show market strength. So that is our target. Let's put that in here. and we are going to add that to our YouTube picks. And that is it for today. So, a bit of a longer video, but had a lot more things to cover. Hope you guys found this helpful. End of the month coming soon. We're going to look at all the picks. We're going to see what went well, what didn't go well, and how we can improve for the next month. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll catch you all tomorrow.